Okay, I've done a couple spots on the varnish on the hatch here. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. Basically, the first thing I do is when I find a spot that's lifting, I'll put a piece of tape just so I know where it is. So when I look at it, I know where to touch up, because there's a few of them. So basically, this varnish is pretty poor. It's not sticking, so it doesn't really take much to lift it and scrape it off. So you can see it chipping all over the place just by touching it. And you can see some of the varnish lifted, and you can see some of the wood discolored here. So basically what I want to do is I want to get all of the bad varnish that's not sticking off. You can see how the wood is discolored, so it's been discolored underneath the varnish. So I'm just trying to pop off the old varnish by just literally just pressing on the varnish right on the edge of where it's sticking. Because you can see it's a little blonder, so you know it's bad. So just want to scrape off what we can. It's literally, you don't have to do too much, so it just literally comes off. So actually, this goes a little further than I thought. So I'm literally just using my Hopper Freight scraper with the smallest blade that it comes with on there. And I'm literally just scraping off the loose varnish, as you can see. And once I get most of that off, I'll literally just scrape the wood until I get to good wood. And I'll kind of scrape the good varnish so it's a little bit more flat, so you don't have a big crater. So basically I'm just scraping this wood, which I believe is teak, till I get good wood. And this must have been pretty bad for a while, because it's kind of black here. So scrape the best I can. Now I'll switch over to my other scraper to kind of get into the corner. And if I can find it, I'll leave the link to the scraper, because this is like a godsend to get into inside corners like this. And this is a carbide tip blade, so this will literally last forever. I mean, I probably go through one blade maybe every year or two, so it lasts a long time. Stay sharp. This one has a carbon blade, and this actually lasted quite a bit, so I'm actually kind of impressed with that. And it does come with a tool to sharpen the blade, so you can sharpen those. But this is nice and sharp. You can see I'm getting to nice clean wood. And I may edit this down if it gets too boring to watch. I'm basically stopping when the varnish stops breaking up. I think we're pretty much there. This seems like it's stuck pretty good. I'm just trying to soften the edge here. I'm kind of knocking down the edge of the varnish. So when I go to varnish it, you won't see like a crater, or at least it'll be minimized. this was just some varnish that was lifting onto the chrome, so it stuck pretty good underneath it. But you gotta get all the dead wood out of there because the varnish doesn't stick too well to it. I'm just scraping some of the varnish. And there's a little piece there. Okay, so loud noises here. I'm going to turn the vacuum on. Okay, so that's nice and clean now. So now I will take the sandpaper. This is the 60 grit and kind of go over it to kind of raise the grain. I will go over this again with 100 grit to kind of knock down any high spots that this leaves. But this is just getting what the scraper couldn't get. And kind of scratching up the varnish. So when I re-varnish it, it'll stick to this. Because if you don't scratch this up, the varnish will just peel right off. So we want to get this nice. Again, this is 60, so this is really way too aggressive. But I will go over it again with the 100, so it'll blend in nicely. So if you feel this, you'll see that the varnish goes smoothly into the wood. So when I do put the new varnish on, you won't have a crater. That's always it always looks kind of crappy if you don't do this. And I think we're pretty good now. Just make sure you don't have too sharp of an edge. Make sure it's still rounded, because you can easily knock this corner down, which I did a little bit. That actually feels pretty excellent. So, okay, so this is the first pass. So the next part will be knocking this down with 100, and then that'll be done, and then we can apply the varnish. When I do the Coachroof, I will come around and touch up these spots and build this up along with the rest of the Coachroof. And once we're done building this up, and then I can do the entire hatch, and it'll be done. It'll be barely noticeable. So it will never be totally hidden, but it should be more than acceptable. So that's how you do a spot repair. Watch for future videos to show how I finish it. Okay, I'm all done with sanding the rad boxes and the hatch. So as you can tell, I feathered in some areas that needed some help. And they may be a little lighter or darker than the wood around it, but eventually it will end up matching. So this is the first sanding, and I will give it a second sanding tomorrow, and then we can start varnishing the entire thing at once. So it's pretty exciting. So we're making huge progress. So knocked off about 3 to 4 hours today. So I will tally up how many hours I have on it so far. So we're probably about halfway done. The varnishing goes a lot quicker than the sanding. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.